It's a tough situation. And there's nobody more military than me, Caitlin. My dad was military, career military. I'm all for the military. We need a strong military, but we also need to go by the rules in the Constitution and represent the people and taxpayers. Taxpayers are not supposed to pay for anything that has to do with abortion.
Your father was in the military, but when you talk about who's hurting here and that you said you were going to do this, you're not directly hurting Secretary Austin or President Biden here. This has a real impact on the families of these officers. They can't move or resettle their families. They can't enroll their kids in schools. Their spouses can't take new jobs, wherever they're going to be stationed next. This keeps members of the military who are getting promoted from getting that pay raise. You realize that, right?
Well, first of all, if I thought it was hurting readiness or recruiting,
who's this hillbilly? He's the ultimate skibbity dub yes man, dude. What do you mean? It's Tommy skibbity dub Tuberville
doing it. I've talked to generals and admirals. They said, Coach, we're going to be able to get this done. We'll work through this. And I appreciate their comments. I talked to General Brown today. I talked to General Smith last week, who's now was the deputy of the Marines. Now he's the commandant until confirmed, but he was sworn in today. But you got to think about this. We say we're hurting the families, but I want you to think about this. We've done a couple of dozen abortions in the military for the last 40 years, a couple of dozen a year. Now we're going to have 4,000 to 5,000 a year because this new rule, this new supposedly law that this administration is pushing through. So let's think about the unborn. Let's think about the young people that are not going to be able to get in the military and be part of this country. Let's think about them.
But where are you getting those numbers from?
We had a outside service look into it, calculate it, go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and we sent that to the SecDef. We sent it to all the people in the White House. They knew.
I love the guy who's like blocking military money is concerned about the end of life of the unborn. It's like, bro, what do you think the military does? We don't like that the military's killing children. Only Iraqi children, okay? What do you mean? You're not killing American babies. I don't want that. I want Iraqi babies only.
Knew this was going to happen. They knew how many more there were going to be. So you got to look at the facts here. Facts first. I mean,
but
that's your motto.
It's not illegal on a national basis. I mean, it's up to the states right now. They get to decide. Alabama, our home state, basically doesn't allow most abortions, but I don't understand the numbers that you're citing there or where those are coming from, saying that that's a jump and that's why you're changing this policy. You said you were changing the policy and that you're holding this block because you don't want the Pentagon paying for travel related to people who have to travel out of state to go get an abortion.
Exactly. Taxpayers, 60% of the people in this country, Democrats and Republicans and independents, say they do not want taxpayer money to go towards anything to do with an abortion. And so that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get the attention of this Department of Defense and the White House.
But you're saying
listen to the people. Listen to the people.
Senator,
I'm not trying to hurt anybody.
Yeah, famously, the majority of people is what, the Supreme Court listened to when they made their new decision on longstanding precedent. Listen to the people. That's why 75% of Americans believe in defending the right to have an abortion, okay, universally applied. But we did the exact opposite. I don't give a fuck.
Listen to the people, and let's get this thing done. But there has to be conversation to get anything done, by the way.
But some clarification, because you are blocking this because the reason it's in place is that people who are stationed in certain places, if they want to get an abortion and they happen to be in a state that doesn't offer it because of the new laws that have gone in place since Roe versus Wade were overturned, would have to travel to another state. You're claiming that abortions are going to skyrocket because the Pentagon is paying for people to take off work and have to go out of state to get them?
Caitlin, abortion, for 3 exceptions, is going to abortion at any time. Also, their dependents. I mean, you're adding a lot of people into this. You're adding a lot of time frame into that during the pregnancy. That's what I'm talking about. There is no set rules on this. It's just, hey, if you want to have one, have it. We'll pay for your flight anywhere to a state that can do it.
Brother, this literally is good for military recruitment, okay? America has had a long-standing principle of gatekeeping social safety nets and amenities from the average American citizen and only offering it to everyone as long as they serve in the military. You're just trying to limit one other healthcare one other aspect of healthcare from your own soldiers. You're harming military readiness, sir. Coach, I believe this is a misstep. I believe this is a tactical misstep, Coach. You think you're blocking and pushing. But, sir, I'll tell you what right now. What you're doing right now is actually hurting military readiness, sir.
We're going to give you 3 weeks off, paid. That doesn't come out of your time off as a service member. There's a lot added to this, and it's going to be charged to the taxpayer.
Okay, but they're not paying for the abortion itself, the procedure itself. But you did mention military readiness there, and I'm glad you did, because 7 former U.S. Defense Secretaries, including 2 who served under former President Trump, James Mattis and Mark Esper, disagreed.
Mad Dog Mattis.
And they signed a letter to Senate leaders saying that your actions are harming military readiness, that this risks damaging U.S. national security, and it risks turning military officers into political pawns. And they specifically say that there are some pretty important positions that you were holding up, including the 5th Fleet in Bahrain and the 7th Fleet in the Pacific, which are critical to checking Iranian and Chinese aggression. Are you saying that you know better than those 7 former defense secretaries?
Well, first of all, those secretaries.
God, she's doing such a great job ripping into her because it's a position that she's assuming where she's pro-American military. By the way, now that she brought that up, I'm kind of on Tuberville's side, where it's like Tuberville is actually a Maoist third worldist who's destroying the imperialist American war machine from within. Like, yeah, it's called permanent first world genocide. Permanent genocide of the first world. Why do we have these fleets? Why do we have these fleets checking Iran? What? You want to make Iranians get abortions? I don't want that to happen. Sick and tired of American influence on the third world. We will no longer extract your natural resources, sir. This is why I'm putting an end to this.
Secretary of Defenses were nominees. They weren't elected. I was elected to represent the people of Alabama in this country. Number 2, if they want to confirm a general or admiral, we can do it tomorrow, okay? I'm not stopping all of them. I mean, if there's some that they want out there, General Brown, who's going to be the new head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he'll go through by himself. He's going to go through confirmation tomorrow, and we will vote on him by himself. He will not be held up. And so this is just throwing 100 or 200 in there and doing it at one time, when I'm just saying, hey, this gives me the right, because I'm a senator, I can hold.
I love how stupid he is. It's awesome.
Any confirmation I want until we get some kind of confirmation of why you're
He's literally
doing
the
this.
perfect guy for this job.
Let's talk. I've heard 0 from the White House and 0 the last 5 months, other than 10 minutes from Secretary Austin in February.
But you've said you're not going to drop your objection here. I mean, what if President Biden called you, that wouldn't change your policy? Are you saying it would?
Well, that's another thing. We need leadership in the White House. If I'd have been the president, I'd already called me to the White House and said, Coach, what are you doing? This is why we need to get this.
What?
How do we work it out? We got to come to some compromise. But Caitlin, there's got to be conversation.
I would have said, Coach, you're out of your fucking mind. Why are you behaving in this erratic manner? That's what I would have said to me if I was already president. You know what I'm saying? I love that he is like already undermining the legitimacy of his own position. If I was in the White House, I would have fucking shot me. Okay? Shot myself for mutiny. Destroying American military readiness. Fucked up.
Nobody has even talked to me in 5 months. I hear that the
White House is acting like my dang grandchildren. Not giving me a call. I know your phone works, Adrian. I see you playing Roblox. You keep using your mama's credit card. Buy them V-Bucks. Why aren't you calling me? Just like the White House.
The press secretary over there saying, there's been nothing. That's the biggest lie I've ever heard. If they're really worried about readiness, if they're worried about recruiting, how about we get this done? How about they come talk to me and let's talk this out and work it out and come to a good conclusion for the American people, the taxpayers, and the citizens of the United States of America.
But your own fellow Republicans disagree with you here. Even Mitch McConnell says he does not agree with this tactic. So I guess I'm just confused. If there is that conversation with the White House, what would you achieve by talking to them if they stand by this policy, which they put in place, after Roe versus Wade was overturned, and you say you don't like
I
this
need a
policy.
shoulder to cry on.
Where's the middle ground there?
Well, first of all, I don't work for any other senator. I work for the people of Alabama, and they got their own opinion, whether it's Democrat or Republican, Independent. It's my prerogative to put a hold on. But the one thing that I want to do is make sure that the American taxpayer has a say-so in whether we pay for anything to do with abortion. That is what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to stop any confirmations. I'm not trying to be hard-headed about this. I just want some conversation and get a reasonable explanation of why we're doing this. And there's been zero.
Well, I just want to repeat, it's members of the military who are paying the price for this policy that you've chosen to take up.
Awesome.
But speaking of the military, I do want to give you a chance to clarify some comments you made recently on white
Caitlin, you hear about J.D. Pond? That's me.
nationalists serving in the military. For those
It's proletarian revolution, a dictatorship of the proletarian. But who the proletarian is, of course, I'm talking about the people of Alabama. Okay? You understand me?
nationalists serving in the military, for those who are watching, if they haven't heard your remarks, this is what you said.
Do you believe they should
Awesome.
allow white nationalists in the military?
Well, they call them that. I call them Americans.
Hell yeah, brother. Roll Tide, baby. Even though he
Do you
wasn't
want to
U of
explain
A,
those
right? He
comments,
was.
Senator?
Yeah, first of all, I'm totally against any type of racism, okay? I was a football coach for 40 years, and I dealt
There's a lot of blacks
and
in
had
there.
an opportunity to be around more minorities than anybody up here on this field.
Yeah,
but
he
when our
literally
military-
said that. I was joking. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, man. Oh, no. He said it. Let me tell you something, okay? You know how many black children are forced into battle? I know a thing or two. I've been around minorities my whole life. A lot more than you have. That's awesome. I've been working young black men for free for a very long time as a part of my career, okay? You can say I know a thing or two about that.
military has been attacked, was being attacked after 9/11, after January the 6th, and that was my first day on the Senate floor. I thought it was outrageous of what senators from the Democratic side, Chuck Schumer said on the floor that night, calling out people, calling people racist, calling people nationalists, white nationalists. White nationalists is just another word that they want to use other than racism. I'm totally against anything to do with racism. But the thing about being a white nationalist is just a cover word for the Democrats now, where they can use it to try to make people mad across the country. Identity politics.
This is why he's so awesome. He's like, I just learned this new word, okay? What do you mean, white nationalist? It's just a new word that the Democrats invented. It's a new word that they invented, okay? Ain't nobody knew about white nationalism before the Democrats invented it to use it against the Republicans. Real patriots, I call them.
Totally against that. But I'm for the American people. I'm for military. I'm for Christian conservatives, Democrats, whoever wants to be in the military to fight for this country, to protect this country. That's what it's all about.
But just to be clear, you agree that white nationalists should not be serving in the U.S. military. Is that what you're saying?
If people think that a white nationalist is a racist, I agree with that. I agree they
A white
should.
nationalist is someone who believes that the white race is superior to other races.
Well, that's some people's opinion, and I don't think.
That's
I mean,
not
a lot.
opinion.
Pardon?
What's your opinion?
My opinion of a white nationalist, if somebody wants to call him white nationalist, to me is an American. It's an American. Now, if that white nationalist is a racist, I'm totally against anything that they want to do, because I am 110% against racism. But I want somebody.
I'm telling you, he's like a Jimmy Dore style MAGA communist, dude. He's like, no more. We're stopping permanent genocide in the first world. Okay, number one. Number two, we have to do an alliance. We had to do an alliance with the white nationalists, because do they not bleed red, white, and blue? They do. Any man is still a worker. Okay, doesn't matter. He's Nazball, dude. He's
Somebody that's in our military, that's strong, that believes in this country. That's an American that will fight along anybody, whether it's a man or woman, black or white, red. It doesn't make any difference. And so I'm totally against identity politics. I think it's ruining this country, and I think that Democrats ought to be ashamed for how they're doing this, because it's dividing this country and it's making this country weaker every day.
But that's not identity politics. You said a white nationalist is an American.
It is identity politics.
You said a white nationalist is an American, but a white nationalist is someone who believes horrific things. Do you really think that's someone who should be serving in the military?
Well, that's just a name that has been given. I mean,
it's not. It's a real definition. There's real concerns
about
about
extremism. So if you're going to do away
extremism.
with most white people in this country out of the military, we got huge problems.
It's not.
We
It's
got huge problems.
It's not people who are white. It's white nationalists.
That have a few probably
you see the
different
distinction,
beliefs.
right?
That have different beliefs. Now, if racism is one of those beliefs, I'm totally against it. I am totally against racism.
But
there's a lot of people that
a
believe
white
in different
nationalist
things.
is racist.
Well, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. But if it's racism, I'm totally against it. I am totally against any type of race.
He's so stupid. Like, this is why he's perfect. Because he's too fucking stupid. He I think he literally thinks that white national, it's not intentional. No, chat, if it was intentional, he would just literally say, no, y'all call them white nationalists. But the reality is, you call everybody white nationalists. That's the effective counter. And that's what he's trying to say. But he's so fucking brain dead that he can't get those words out. So he just keeps saying, no, white nationalists are fine. I just don't like racists. It's a new word you came up with. Like, he literally, this is like a new concept for him. You get it? I don't think he knows what he's doing. I'm sorry. I think Tommy Tuberville is genuine in how stupid he is.
Any type of racism. I don't care what it's in.
Hey everyone, I'm the editor. Thanks for watching till the end. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, then please drop a like and subscribe. Why not leave a Kaya love in the comments down below so that I know that you reached this point of the video? If you'd like more content like this one, then check the video up here on top of my head, or literally in front of my face right here.